So I'm super excited. Today I want to talk to you about the Homestudy. The Homestudy is required for both foster care and adoption. Our experience has only been in the state of Missouri, and I'm pretty sure that your state would be similar to what our experiences were, but you can always go to your state's Department of Social Services website and look it up. I want to talk to you about the Homestudy because I have noticed that it is one of the most intimidating parts of the process to become licensed to adopt or foster. So I'm super excited to show you today that it's really not all that scary. So there's 3 parts to the Homestudy. There's paperwork, there is in-person interviews, and there's a home walkthrough. The paperwork is pretty extensive. You have to fill out an application. You will also be required to provide documents like your marriage license and your birth certificate. You will have to provide documentation that your cars are insured and your pets are vaccinated. You have to do a background check where you get fingerprinted, and you have to provide documentation from your doctor that you're medically fit to take care of children. So I want you to be aware that they will ask you lots of questions that you may be uncomfortable answering. They'll ask you questions like, do you have a family member, or do you have a past of alcohol abuse or mental disorder, or even medical issues like heart disease and cancer. They just want to know for the safety of the child. They will also ask you questions about your relationship with your siblings and your parents and each other, and they're just kind of trying to delve in and get to know you a little bit more. Don't be afraid, be honest. They want you to succeed, so they're not going to rule you out because your brother or a family member has a problem with drugs or alcohol. They won't rule you out because of that. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. They'll also ask you to provide a financial statement. They'll want a list of your expenses, including like a house payment and a car payment, and that sort of thing. And they'll also ask you about your income. And they just want to make sure that you are able to provide for whatever children they place in your home. So the second part is the in-person interview, and you might be super nervous, but it's actually really fun. The case manager or the Homestudy worker that is coming to your house, they usually do it at your house, super nice usually. They really want you to succeed, so there's nothing to be afraid of. They are going to look you in the eye and ask you a lot of the questions that were on your application about your family past and your relationship with family members. They want to know how your family feels about you taking in a foster child or adopting a child. They want to know about your job. They want to know about if you have childcare or if you need childcare. Even things that you might think are silly, like how are decisions made in the house? How are financial decisions made in the house? What do you do for fun? What kind of books do you like to read? What kind of movies do you like to read? They just want to get to know you. They will ask you serious questions. They want to know your views on discipline. They want to know how you will handle a child that might be having problems either behaviorally or developmentally, and what resources that you have to help a child in those circumstances. Personally, we really enjoyed the in-person interviews. We really enjoyed getting to meet the caseworkers. We were able to ask them questions. They really were trying to help us. It did feel like an interrogation at times, but they wanted us to succeed. So because we worked with the state foster system and we worked with a private adoption agency, we had several home studies done. By the end of it, we were pretty much pros at this. One of our last home studies, we were on our 3rd visit. The lady showed up on the wrong day, and all of a sudden, our doorbell rings and she's standing there. And we were so nervous because we had not cleaned the house, but we let her in. She was super embarrassed and really nice about it. She was so appreciative that we let her go ahead and finish what she needed to do, and we passed with flying colors. If you come to the Homestudy with a positive attitude and a little bit of excitement and honesty, like just say, I'm super nervous about this, they will be super understanding. You will be fine. So the last part of the Homestudy, and for some probably the scariest, is the home walkthrough. Do not worry. They don't care if your home does not look like a Joanna Gaines home.
Ours definitely doesn't look like it.
We had nothing on the walls, basically, and we had already lived here for several years. So They don't care about your decorating skills.
They want to make sure that you have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide if you have gas in your home. They also want to make sure that you have a fire extinguisher. We did not have the right fire extinguisher first.
Yeah, we had a 3-pound fire extinguisher and they wanted to see a 5-pound fire extinguisher. So we had to go buy a new fire extinguisher. But
And it had to be within date.
oh yes, can't be expired. That's true. Guns and ammunition need to be locked up separately.
Your cabinets have to be locked, so knives have to be locked up, which was sometimes hard, but we put child safety locks on all their cabinets that we kept anything that we didn't want the kids getting into. Medications have to be locked up. What else? Anything else?
Cleaning supplies, anything that might be dangerous to children needs to be up high or locked up. Okay, so we found these super cool magnetic cabinet locks on Amazon. We'll put the link in the description below, but they were a lot easier to open and close for us. Like if I was cooking and needed to get a knife out of the cabinet, it wasn't quite as cumbersome as some of those old-fashioned childproof locks. All of your exposed outlets have to have those little outlet covers, and we were required to, in our state, this is all the state of Missouri, we had to have those little door handle things, childproof door handle things. To be honest, even our youngest kids knew how to open those up, and we had caseworkers show up a couple of times when they weren't on the doors, so it wasn't quite as big a deal as we were afraid of, but we did have to have those, and we kept them on as much as we could. So.
Just going to the outside doors.
Yes, the outside doors, that is true. So just keep in mind, if you have hazards in your backyard, like a trampoline or a pool, that does not disqualify you. You just have to show them that it is safe. So you must have like a cover on your pool or maybe a fence around it. Our trampoline has a net around it and then the little pad guards over the springs, and they're fine. So if you have questions about things like that, you can contact your state and find out, or probably just Google it.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it. It sounds really scary and it can be stressful, but it also can be really fun. We want you to feel like you can reach out to us with any questions that you have about home studies, foster care, and adoption. So feel free to do that. We'll put a link in our description below of how you can get a hold of us. And also go back and check out our previous videos. We talk a lot about foster care and you can see our family and what it's like. Thanks so much for watching. We love you guys so much and we can't wait to see you again next week.